back to the final episode.
Yeah!
Of the Bad Questions, Worst Answers podcast. Each week I, Connor, along with my friends, Charlie.
Yeah!
Hey, Connor,
And
how
Brett.
you doing today?
And Brett. This is going to be awful editing it. Okay. Present a bad question to the others. Then, as a group, we attempt to explore these bad questions with the worst answers. Today, I will start off with my question.
Can I jump in real quick, Connor?
Yeah.
How do we feel about creating, what do you call it? Like a jingle? No. Like an opening song.
Bad questions, worst answers. Da, 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 da.
I think we gotta get that together one of these days.
Yeah, we gotta do something about that.
We'll have Colby look into it.
I liked in the first, like at one of the first episodes when you just like put some smooth jazz behind the clapping. I thought that was solid.
You've been doing that the last couple ones.
Yeah.
Oh, that outs me. That's awkward. Maybe the solution to the audio when it doesn't sync up is just that we speak out of sync for real, and that's just like part of the charm of the podcast.
Then it'll come together when
We just like have all three completely different thoughts.
All right, yeah, Connor,
Yeah, let's
kick it
let's
off?
get into it.
I don't get it.
That was a solid intro.
All right, will there ever be world peace?
Well, that's a shit
Thought we would
question.
get through this question because
I'm
it'll
just gonna
come up
go-
no matter what.
I'm gonna go very, the 30,000 foot view on this one. I'm gonna go with no. I think just conflict is natural. I don't know. I mean, well, I want to hear your thoughts first. I have a couple click clack.
I would do no with the asterisk of unless there's like a 1984 sort of scenario and like the whole world is just like one giant thing. Does that make sense? Like one giant country.
Yeah.
But that was
But
also
even then
like,
there'd still be fighting. Like
yeah.
Well, like
that
in
whole book
1984, though, it was like faux conflict. Like it was just like conflict, like made to like control the masses.
Yeah. I think I would be assuming like it's even further than that, where like one group has one. If you, I guess, believe that in 1984 there are still multiple groups, but yeah, like I think until there's like one giant, massive population, I think there would always be fighting, and even then there would still, I'm sure, be fighting.
There's a lovely Voltaire quote. Yeah, look how pretentious this will sound, but I think
Nice,
it goes,
Brett.
history is like filled with the sound of Pearl's shoes going downstairs and like wood boots coming upstairs or something along the lines of that. So I think the cyclical nature of having like people in power being overthrown, like I guess to tie it back to 1984, the proletariat versus the bourgeoisie, I think that's just a natural cycle that will forever be, commonplace.
I don't know, like the I don't know how to put it, but like the cynical side of me thinks like no. Like when I hear the question, I immediately go to no. But I don't know. There's like something like a part of me that's like optimistic, be like, yeah, I feel like there could be a point where there would be world peace, but like I don't know, it's tough because on one hand I think that like people need conflict with each other. Like pretty much all our world leaders are just like babies having like a pissing contest. Like that's kind of like how like most conflicts are created. Tell me if I'm wrong. Charlie, your face reads like
I just feel like that could be a bad take. I'm not even like in total disagreement. It just seems like a bold take. It's a hot one, I feel like. Maybe
I
it's
don't
not.
know. Like I think like most conflict is just like dudes and ladies having like a pissing contest with each other, seeing like just trying to like escalate things, even though like there could be like a lot easier compromises or solutions to things.
I was
But, like,
sort of
also-
thinking, though, maybe there's an argument to be made that in some ways they're also the things that like hold it all together. Like there would maybe be more smaller fighting and like just general anxiety and discomfort on some level, like at some points in time, if you didn't have like the broader world leaders like holding everything in check some of the time.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, though.
Are you guys okay? You maybe mutually assured destruction. That fun doctrine. Yeah. So we know. I think that's like a really good, sort of guiding principle where you sort of almost need this brinksmanship all the time, like Charlie was saying. Maybe like where you do sort of have this very out there world leaders always just sort of wielding a threat to prevent actual threats. I don't know. It's like a fun thing to think about.
Do you think like conflict is needed for there to be no conflict?
One thing, I don't know if this ties in well with that, but I was going to mention that I feel like I struggle to see how you could ever have a time where there are not some people that are doing worse than other people. And I feel like as long as you have that like dynamic of some people doing a little better than other people, there will always be some sort of conflict to be had as the people at the lower try to get up and the people at the higher try to push the lower down or hold the lower down, I guess. That just seems too like part of human nature to fully get rid of ever.
I do think people are generally like power hungry, not in the sense that they like try to gobble up it all, but you're very like there's a lot of like protection when it comes to preserving sort of your status, and I don't know, it's sort of a
pride.
Tough, yeah, and it's tough to really be selfless and like
altruistic.
Yes. Also, Connor, I had another great sort of comment on that question. Where do you sort of need this like perpetual sort of tension? There's that great Earl Sweatshirt line, I broke up with my partner because we ain't argue enough. Yeah, so I think you do sort of need that healthy sort of combat.
You need like some like kind of like what my other question was like, do you need conflict for there to be no conflict? Like because like I think like conflict is healthy like every once in a while to where it helps like grow, like make bonds like greater. That was like an awful way to say that, but just like tighten bonds with like relationships and shit, like because if everything was like always perfect, like it would be like almost unsettling, like to where it was like, okay, like it's kind of like you get anxious over the fact that like, oh, like how come like no one person is like gonna be as perfect for another person. Like there has to be like arguing or like some sort of conflict in order for things to like be kosher.
I think when it comes to like strengthening bonds, I struggle with like imagining people that I'm really upset with, because generally like if I have negative like feelings towards someone, you can like just sort of cut that out of your life pretty easy. But with like those people you care about a lot, you can like let this like energy build up because you do want them to be in your life. So like that's why you see, like the husband-wife scenarios that go off the deep end. It's like they can't just let go of that energy. It's so tough to like cut that relationship away. So maybe like that's for like a healthy, interconnected like global environment. It's tough to really, burn those bridges with countries. I don't know. Maybe that's why tension sort of lasts. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah. Brett, didn't you say, I don't know, you told me this multiple times, but haven't you said that, like, we are, like, you've read somewhere that we're in, like, our most peaceful, like, state in, like, a while or ever or something?
I think so, but then like I guess I'd have to look deeper into it. Like what is like peace, I guess? That would like could be another offshoot to this question. Like how do we mark it? Is it like deaths? Is that how we mark peace? Because, in this day and age you don't really need to throw bodies at problems. It's more you've probably heard like the doomsday people say like infrastructure is like the next sort of battlefield. So I'd like to think that we're in a generally peaceful time, though.
Yeah, I think there will always be. I don't know. I just like can't like see like someone like just nuking the world, like just fucking like obliterate. I can't foresee that happening unless there's like a real. If someone like goes unchecked, like if someone's like that crazy to where they're like, okay, we're just like I don't care, like I don't care if I go down or anybody else goes down, like we're just like gonna like end it all. Like I can't foresee someone being in that position of like power to make that call.
That's what I was gonna say on it. Is it just seems so? It feels so unrealistic that something like that would happen, even though it's probably more realistic than like you'd want to admit, just because of how quickly things can change and that kind of thing. But
yeah,
it just is. It's such an odd thing to consider, like a real, true conflict. And then what's maybe even sadder on top of that is the fact that like even in our lifetimes, there's been substantive fighting and bodies thrown at problems, and it just feels so far from home. I don't really know why.
Yeah, it's definitely like a privileged thought to think, it's peaceful. I was also thinking like in what Charlie was sort of bringing up earlier with like a situation in which peace would exist would be like sort of a 1984 state where you have a very, I don't know, would you call it a homogenous population?
Sure.
I don't know.
I feel like it'd have to be.
It'd have to be, but like, is that attainable? Because like the U.S. is like by far like the most diverse country on Earth, and it's like there's a lot of unrest, and I think for good reasons. But I don't know, like obviously you can't sort of consolidate the world's ethnicities and populations with ease. I don't know. Maybe that's too harsh or too pessimistic, but at least at the peace that you're trying to achieve, where it's like true world peace.
Yeah, it gets difficult to talk about politely, but yeah, I feel I can't imagine it not being a very homogenous population with no competitor, really.
Yeah, because you can't really have. It sucks to say this, but like people different from you, like the wrong people will create like such like an us versus them mentality to where it's like it's almost like impossible unless you teach it from ground one to like have everything like equal. And because like I don't know, us versus them creates like it just like with anything, even with politics, like if you treat like if you're a Republican or a Democrat and you treat like the opposite side as like the enemy, like it's like creating that us versus them is not gonna create like the most like productive peaceful progress.
Here's maybe an interesting like derivation of the question is how long would it last? I don't think it could last forever. Like at some point you'd have like a like a Hunger Games type moment or something where where, you know, somebody just realizes shit's not the way it should be and gets angry.
So is it almost something where you're not like trying to strive for like the ideal scenario, but you're just trying to get like in a better like foundational position where maybe conflict happens less frequently or is like less harshly? Like, I don't think you can eradicate conflict, but yeah, let's say you really hammer down at like the cross-cutting bonds between groups of people where you're interacting with people of all different like backgrounds and walks of life. I'm like, let's say that's like extended to a global scale. Like over time, can you build a society that is like more understanding to where conflict may exist, but it's like less severe, like more infrequent? Or is that, you know, does that just like, does the pressure build up in that case and then you sort of are bound for like a reset?
I think you can like nurture, because no one's like no one's born a racist. Like, I think, or like no one's born with like, I mean, there are like psychopaths and like sociopaths and people like that, but I don't think people are, I don't know, I like to believe that people are born with like good intentions. It just like comes from where like nurturing like your upbringing or like what you're taught when you're younger, to like have that foundation set to where you can be like more peaceful or more sophisticated or whatever.
I agree, but I think there can be conflict like without it being like racist conflict or
I was
like
just
that.
giving that as
no
an
no
example.
I know you aren't saying like racism is the only conflict we have.
No.
But I feel like there will just always be like an inherent, like there's no matter how perfectly you balance things, there will be some kind of unbalance. I have to think. And
Yeah, I don't think you could go. Oh, excuse me.
Nice.
I don't think you can go.
Good content.
Fuck off. I don't know. I think I lost my train of thought now. What were you saying?
I feel like there will always be some kind of unbalance, and so like through that there will always be some sort of maybe not even conflict, but like some kind of effort being made to, you know, get people to someplace they aren't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think no matter how good the person is or like how smart a person is, I don't think you can avoid conflict. I think there's better kinds of conflict to have.
Mm-hmm. I think that ties in really nicely with my question. What is the sexiest letter of the alphabet?
I'm going to come out and say it. I'm going to jump on this one pretty quick. You got to go with the S. Like, I don't think that's anyone's denying that it's not on the Mount Rushmore of sexiest letters. I think it is almost like an Abe Lincoln of sorts, of the latter.
I disagree. I'm hard disagree.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I think like the letter V is the sexiest letter of the alphabet.
Damn. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Just like in every sense. Like, why do you think S is the paramount like must have sexiest letter?
I think it keeps you engaged top to bottom. It's curvy all throughout. It's non-symmetrical. I think that's an important qualifier for a sexy letter. It's sort of got that mystique.
Well, it's just like mirrored.
To it.
Let's not give it too much credit.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's mirrored?
It's just like it's like mirrored two directions.
Yeah, but you can't cut a symmetrical line anywhere. Can't flip it over itself and have the same image.
I get what you mean, but it's not like it's some like bold like statement. Like, I don't know. Let's not be giving the S too much credit for its like design. I feel like
I don't
that's
like that. I think the S has the most like janky. I think V is the most suggestive
Snooze City, bro.
letter.
Like, did you?
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, V's got nothing.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
not
got
into
2
V.
lines. Like, yeah, get out of here with that one, my man.
Here's where I'm coming from, and I'm curious what you think, and it makes it a good format because you'll probably tell me what you think. I think G. I think G is the sexiest letter, uppercase.
Why?
It's kind of drawing you
I don't
in.
know. I don't have
It's
like,
like-
cynicism.
I'm hard to disagree with that
It's
one
like
too.
giving you.
It's
I
too
don't
like
know.
rigid almost. It's like it's stoic.
No, it's got it
It's-
all.
it's
It's
a
got the
stoic.
curves. It's got the
It's-
smooth, and then it's kind of feisty too.
The G is sitting down. It is not commanding. It's not. It's just kind of like this very soft.
I don't know, man.
reserved
I think
top.
V is so simple it's sexy.
It's
All
not.
right.
I think it is.
I don't know, like V coming as like a Roman letter, it's just very, this archaic sort of 2-bit washed up.
Yeah, V just seems old. It's been around the block. It means 5.
What do you guys? What?
I feel like it almost gets lost even in the alphabet when you're like rolling through. Like I couldn't, if you said what letters border V, I'm not going to
Okay, are we talking about
you.
like the aesthetic of the alphabet, like the actual like letter, the aesthetic of it, like the way it looks, or just like in every context?
I think when you're evaluating the sexiness of like a person, I feel like you have to take in all
Yeah.
information.
It's about personality, and again, I think G brings a lot to the table there.
I think G, I just don't think it. I don't think the letter sounds sexy. G.
Oh, okay, I like that. I like that angle.
S
Or even
definitely
S.
has something going for it there.
I mean, yeah, S is like.
S.
It is like suggestive.
Do you think Q?
I'll give it that.
Do you think Q has like a chance in the running? I feel like it's almost like the avant-garde G a bit. You know what do you call it? Like the slash in the Q? Like when it comes to like letter form, that's definitely like unprecedented. It's kind of got that new age sort of
It's coming at it.
design.
I think. I'm like with V and J.
J,
I was
think
just going to
J's
throw
a
out J.
I think.
a little bit below the border, if you know what I mean.
Are you talking...
That was terrible. That was terrible.
Are you...
I was
are
thinking the
you saying,
lowercase.
upper or lowercase?
Well, we gotta go lowercase. I mean,
Yeah, I think the dot's huge. I think having that, I mean, just a little like...
Yeah.
It's bringing something. It's kind of fun. It's
yeah,
got
the
like
I is the poor man's J.
Well, even like I think even just like saying out loud J, I think that's just saying it is sexy.
Yeah. It can... Yeah, like even can be a name.
Yeah.
I might have to... I mean, I think G is still my number one, but J's a close second for me now. It's kind of kinky, you know? Maybe too much. It seems all above board, like Brett was saying. It's all like above board. It's got it under control, and then it just swoops down below, you know? It's coming at you. It's coming around.
The V is pointing to something.
Nah.
It's like
No.
yeah. I'm all for V.
I'm trying to think. What are other letters? Okay, I think G's a borderline for me. J's in there.
Yeah.
J's in the party. I like Q as like a wild card pick. I like S. I think S is the blue chip sexy letter.
I think we got to
V's
throw
on the
out
bubble.
M&M.
Let's say V's on the bubble. But
What
then
about
maybe
a lowercase E? It's kind of smiling. It's a
yeah,
happy
I can
letter.
get behind it.
It's maybe not sexy, but like you'd go on a date with it.
I enjoy writing it out. Yeah, you'd give it a shot. I enjoy writing it when it comes to letters.
That's a good take.
So I guess maybe I'm like partial to the curve, the S, the E.
I think we're finding
The
the
J.
curve is big.
Curve
And a
is
little bit
big.
of contrast is important, it seems. Like with J and E, like getting a little bit of both things in there. You want a little bit of both worlds. You don't want a V. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You guys are. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I think the V is simple. It's direct. It tells you what you want. Like I don't know. I don't think it can get any better than that.
I feel like if you're going to go with V, Connor, you should just go with A. It's got more to it.
A is too complicated.
It's one more line.
And A is just an upside down, or is an upside down V, but with a line through it.
Yes, it is.
When I'm looking
like,
at
fuck
V,
off.
I'm kind of struggling to figure out like where I go, you know. But A.
What do you mean? Like the V is like literally like it can point down, like it's like.
Yeah, but I don't want to like go to the next letter. I'm talking about the letter I want to be with. V's just like saying move it along.
You wouldn't show V to your parents.
Yeah.
It'd be like, really? Like you could have
Maybe
went with
one
A.
night stand material.
You guys are disrespecting V hard.
Here's another element. Font. If you think about cursive, does that change it? Or if you throw it in,
Yes.
I don't know, Baskerville, what's happening then?
Yeah. Do you want like a versatile letter? You know, like, because I think S.
I think J, no matter what context, J wins it.
J's up there. I'm thinking like S doesn't really hold up because
No,
between
in
fonts
cursive,
it's sort of it's one note.
S is fat.
Oh,
in cursive.
Yeah, S looks like pregnant.
Yeah.
Like the
You don't wanna hook up
lowercase
with
S.
pregnant. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, lowercase
All
S. Even uppercase S is like thick in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Do you cross back over to get to the next letter with the S, or do you go underneath the capital S? I will say though, a capital
No
J in
idea.
cursive is pretty badass.
Yeah, what
That
are
is
some
a-
of the
that is a
wacky- I need to
ride.
look that up.
That is a ride, bro. The K, no. The K's whack. The Z's whack. I'm not a fan of the ones that don't look like the letters, you know. But,
Oh man, that Z is a trip.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think it might have to be J.
I think J is a good.
I think J is universal. Like it's like
Although,
you
wait a
can't
minute,
go wrong with it.
I'm coming back to my guy G here. I just feel like it's all there. All the pieces are there.
I think it's too obtuse for me. Like there's like it's.
I don't know, J. I'm sort of finding J doesn't have the shape. You know, like there's personality, but I'm struggling to get it on for J. And
J's just a younger, vibrant G. Like even it sounds like sort of uses sort of the same enunciation to get to it.
J's got like experience, like life experience.
I think
They've,
G
like, done
has the
things.
life experience.
That's what I meant, G.
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I guess it just depends then. Like, are you going for the Clooney or are you going for, you know, the T. Chalamet?
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
I think we gotta rule out like T, M, N.
O,
Like, yeah.
P. I mean, you can get rid of. I think we're down.
O is like you like standing on the corner waiting for. O is like a prostitute.
So, what's the final four? We gotta get it down to 4. I think.
Wait, can I ask Connor how he feels about W?
No, too complicated for me.
It's double the V.
I like how simple V is.
You could have went with
V
like
knows what it wants.
like L. You could have went
and
with
I like
L.
that.
How do you feel about L?
No. L can get out of here.
What do you mean? It's like the same.
No, it's not.
It's a more obtuse angle.
When I think of V is like a strong, independent woman, knows what she wants, gets after it.
She's literally pointing away, though. How can that be it? Like, the only thing V's doing is showing you someone else.
What is V pointing away at?
I don't know.
The
whoever's
letter below it.
V is pointing straight down to the action.
But there's nothing there. There's nothing on V at where it's pointing.
It just comes to an
At
end.
the point.
If V had like a dot, like J or something, I'm in. Like, I'm there.
Yeah, the yin yang sort of vibe to it.
Yeah.
The mystery and the contrast with the dot.
Or you throw some umlauts on V, I'm in. I'm there for sure. But it's just like on its own, there's just nothing to it.
All right, I think, okay, final four.
I like how there's
J's
no
in.
frills in V though.
Yeah, we get it, Connor. It's not playing.
Yeah.
You guys is lost.
Well, you could have just, like, your argument's going, it could, like, you could wrangle in, like, 10 different letters to fall under that.
I just think it's weird you enjoy like the simplicity of that, but then you like threw out T and those kinds of things like right away.
Yeah, but like
An N is a V with an extra line, and you said that's too, like, bland.
that's
Yeah.
not suggestive. I don't look at those letters and like I don't see like I don't see anything that's like, hey, like let's go somewhere.
V's may be hot, but there's no substance. You couldn't be in a relationship with V.
Yeah, V's
I
in
don't
the
know.
T territory. One night stand. Yeah. I don't know, Connor. Agree to disagree on this one. This is the conflict that will persist.
What letter are you definitely not getting with? Like, what's your for sure no letter?
G. I look at G and the way like G sounds, I'm out. G. Get out of here.
G is the shit. It's got it all. It's got the curve. It's got the hard line. Orthogonal. Everything. There's personality. There's
can I
depth.
see it?
There's depth. There's like it's a whole journey. G is.
Can I make a phone call to the bleachers to Colby and see what he thinks?
Yeah. What's producer Colby think?
I think I'm Team Q.
Whoa.
I like it. I like it. It's the
What?
wild card.
You can't just
It's
mute
the
yourself.
I
wild
did
card
not
pick.
expect
We need
that.
to hear a defense of that.
Well, it like shoots off to the side. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And if we're talking cursive, I just think it looks kind of cool.
It looks like an L.
Like lowercase cursive.
Oh, lowercase cursive. It looks a lot like a G.
But better.
Wait a minute. On the one I'm looking at, it's literally the same thing. Like they
No,
just
no, no.
copied the G into the Q spot.
I was gonna say yeah, because like one crosses and then one goes back behind, right?
Yeah, it's like almost.
Yeah, one
identical.
goes in front, one goes in back.
I like
So-
the Q though. Colby's right. I think you sort of have that Into the Mystic sort of slash introduced
It's
right at the
literally
end.
quirky. Like Q is quirky.
I was thinking about that too. Like Z to me is like a zany sort of letter. Like I like
Are you talking in cursive?
No, I mean just like matching letters to like words that sort of are
Oh,
intuitively
I see.
thought
Yeah,
of.
Yeah.
Like G for me is like, that's like grandparent. That's like geezer, man. That's like, geriatric.
I look at G and I get bored. I see a snooze fest with G.
I'm struggling to find a good word. Great.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. You're getting something, you're good. It's just middle of the road.
G spot. Suck on that. It's literally like the apex of sexual stimulation.
V, vagina.
Yeah, but G's literally just like a one up on that.
Okay, I'm thinking about letters that I would, like the bottom tier, like would not go for. W. I think it's like too, I don't know, too
W's got
rigid.
too much going on.
For that's an orgy for Connor.
I don't know. It's like maybe it's like. Have you ever seen like a W with a serif font? Like, come on.
I think it's a lowercase r for me. That's a hard pass. Like, what the fuck is he bringing to the table?
It's kind of cute.
Nah.
Oh, we haven't talked about R. What does R stand?
I don't know. I feel like
think
even a
R's got nothing
lowercase
going for
r,
it.
a lowercase r may just be the smallest letter.
I think a lowercase r is just cute.
That should have been a question. Now we've just taken a question from ourselves. What is the smallest letter?
I'm not okay, because the I, it could be the smallest, but you have to do the dot. You have to sort of cross the equator.
And the dot is huge. I cannot overstate the importance of that dot.
Dude, hey,
I mean,
I'm gonna.
it totally changes the letter.
Being a friend of Colby for so long and sharing some classes back through schooling, Colby, I need to hear how you feel about the dots on your eyes. How much do they mean to you?
Are you referring to my handwriting?
Yes.
Well, they must mean a lot because I make them way too big, so...
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Wait a minute. Okay, so is it blasphemous to make that R a heart if you're like a 6th grade girl, for instance, or guy?
What do you mean heart? Is this like a?
You know when people like write their name and they make the dot a heart instead of a dot?
Oh, I thought I got
Aw.
confused.
Heart.
How much can we interpret the letters before it's disrespecting the integrity of the letter?
Honestly, I think putting a heart is pushing it. Like, yeah, you still get the letter, but it's like it's not the same. It's you're making it into what you want it to be.
You're kind of losing some class too.
Yeah. You're like, hey,
Lowbrow.
Jay, I don't like how you look right now, but we're gonna make you. I'm gonna try and make you look the way I want, even better. Like, you're not liking that Jay for the way it is.
Yeah, I think bringing it back, like some of the like a lot of what makes the eye attractive is that dot and sort of the formality of it, but also like the simultaneous playfulness of the.
There's some flair to it.
Yeah.
There's a really brilliant poem.
Oh, here we go.
And all it is it's an I, a lowercase I, and it has the stem, or the trunk, let's say. But then the dot is the author's thumbprint. And that's all the poem is.
Oh, fuck off.
It's a shit poem, but I
Yeah.
think the thumbprint is good.
It's very transformative, I think, right? Like
I think the
in that
thumbprint
part
somehow
represents
works
the
within
whole person.
context of the letter.
Who else? What other letter can like represent something so much more bigger than itself than I, in that situation?
Wow.
Are we talking? Okay, I think we're losing the.
I was gonna say G, because again, it's the greatest physical sensation that one can achieve, right?
What do you mean?
What?
It's like a half-assed
I mean
cue.
I mean
I
it.
don't get it.
It just feels like prehistoric.
G, grandma.
G
G,
spot.
grandpa. G,
Great.
G spot. Like,
I'm just not
great.
feeling the G, man. I think Connor.
V, voluptuous.
Well, your girl's not gonna like if you're not feeling the G, Brett. That's not gonna go over well.
I don't.
Your girl's gonna like
You're
it.
dying on
No, I'm
this
not gonna
hill,
say
this
that.
very old hill, Charlie. I just don't.
Oh man.
Well, fuck V though, am I right?
Fuck you guys. I'm dying on that hill.
Look at how dumb the lowercase cursive V looks. It's just a little measly. It's got like a chin strap or something like
It's
that.
cute.
I just want to hang out, guys.
It almost looks like you're trying to get to the next letter. Like that's all you're trying to do. It's a bridge.
It's maybe a rebound. V is at best a rebound.
Fuck off.
You'll take it if it's there.
You like got out of like a 3-year relationship and you're with V 2 weeks later.
V is the girl that will always like you. No matter
that's
what.
Not hot. That's not hot.
Yeah, I agree that's not hot, but it's an opportunity.
It's there if you need it.
Oh, man. Okay. R. What were you guys talking about? R, like, I forget what you guys were talking. I think R is just cute. The lowercase R is cute.
No, it just looks dumb.
If you've ever seen someone write a lowercase r that's like out of your handwriting, I feel like that's a letter that can like irritate you the way they write it.
I can't even read
Yeah, I
mine.
agree.
Mine just sort of disappear in like a weird little swoop of some kind. That's how little I care about the lowercase r. I don't even give it the time of day to write it properly.
I don't care about R. I don't care about the letter R in general. Like, I think it's, I don't know.
I'm struggling to find a letter that has as much of a journey involved and kind of a sequence of events as G.
God damn it! Give it up, bro. It's. I hope it sees this. I hope the letter G is watching
I'm out
this
there
right now.
for her.
G to me is very masculine. Just
Maybe
putting that
I'm
out
into
there.
that.
Yeah,
G
no, I'm
just
saying that's
sounds
fine,
like-
but I'm just you were quick to say her, and I don't know.
I'm there for it.
You know what? I'm coming around on S. Brett, I'm coming around on S.
Brother, been here the whole time. We welcome you. We welcome you. I'm glad you
That's
said that.
such
I
a
was losing my
generic
way.
answer.
What do you mean? I don't
S
like
is
Apple. It's so like it's a generic phone company, bro. Everyone has Apple. It's like, come on. Sometimes
S has no depth to it.
you're at the top for a reason.
S is just like a normie pick.
All right. Well, if S is normie, then G is just like,
Out there,
G is
character.
G. No, G
You
is
can
like
explore
ancient.
G.
G-
There's like you gotta
No.
get to know it. There's so much to find out and discover with G.
G is like your mentor. They're passing
Yeah.
down wisdom. They're not.
G's like a good friend that like.
How cool
You-
would it be
you-
to bang your mentor?
G is your next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Except super hot.
Well, I guess we can't compete with that one.
We could like say that with like anything. We could be like, yeah, V's
Well, no,
cool, but,
I want to
like,
go to V, Connor.
She's super hot though.
No one would
like,
say
what
V
if,
is hot.
Yeah.
What if V was really
no one
hot?
in their right mind could say that V is a hot letter. All right. Well, I think
Whatever.
we've come to a consensus.
All right, I'll take S, G, I, Q.
Yeah.
I'm taking like V J I.
We'll just take all the derivative of V.
We'll throw in B. I'm throwing in B. Why not?
It's G all the way for me. I mean, I guess J is good, but you can't. You just can't compete with it.
All right. Let us
Yeah,
know in the
I don't know.
comments. Hope to continue this down there. It's a riveting
Yeah.
discussion. Or let us know what you think the shortest letter is. I think that's also a fun question. Maybe E. I don't know. Lowercase r. All right. So my question this week was, and this is very broad, how should we be spending our free time? So I guess maybe to like provide inspiration, I was thinking like, if I have 2 hours to kill at night and it's, I have nothing else going on, and if I put on like a TV show, and let's say it's just like a very lighthearted comedy, like Letterkenny was a show that I started watching like a couple episodes on.
Like Rick and Morty, you're watching Rick and Morty?
No, I already seen it.
Yeah, for instance, Rick and Morty.
It's like, is that now? There's definitely like an easy answer to this, but is that like a productive way to spend your free time?
No.
I don't know.
No, it's not.
Like,
However, I would say that like a movie you want to see is like I can feel good about myself if I've like picked a movie and I've wanted to see it. I'm into that.
okay.
I guess like a counterpoint to that. I don't know why I said no right off the bat. I think, TV and film is like a great medium to like help you. Just like help you. Help you just like find realizations about yourself, do some like self-reflecting, make you find out stuff that you didn't know about yourself. I think like if you're rewatching a show for like the second or third time, I don't think that's the most productive thing, because you could be doing that to like read or watch a new show or watch a movie that you haven't seen before. But I think, although I don't think it's the best medium, I think film and TV are great ways to help you get through like a tough time. They're great for like social. You can do it with like in a social setting. You can take away a lot of things from film and television.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and go ahead, Brett.
No, you
Oh boy.
This is why we gotta do it in person.
Fuck
You avoid
Yeah.
these.
Well, Connor doesn't want to do it in person.
Conflicts.
Let's get that out there.
It
now.
is way too complicated.
I think the thing I was just going to add on film, and this isn't even like good for the conversation, but here I am, is that for me it also like it's an interest of mine, like seeing like how they put it together and how they go about making it. I think that adds to it. Like I think your point broadly, Connor, is great, but it sort of strikes another level for me, which is like I'm sort of like pursuing an interest with it. Like obviously it's a low effort thing to do. I just sit and watch the thing, but that was sort of my answer broadly is I want to spend it like pursuing some kind of interest of mine.
No, yeah. I'm the same way. Like I want to write for TV and film, and like doing that like inspires me and like helps me like become better, or just like take inspiration on like, oh, like this was great what they did with that, like maybe I could try and like put a spin on that, or be like productive by case of like trying to gather inspiration from something else.
No, and yeah, I guess like I don't want to get like hung up on like just TV, but I do think it's like the greatest like or a really good placeholder for like the discussion. But does it have to be like a means to an end though, where you're sort of using it for like your free time to like pursue like a higher interest? Like this is a very philosophical question, and I wish I had like remembered a class I took to like describe this, but I guess like I feel like sort of dread sometimes if I'm doing something like I'm just watching a show. Let's say I'm rewatching a show, and I just feel like, well, this is like a waste of time almost. Even though I know it's not deep down, but I don't know.
I think like if that's all you do in your free time, then yeah, it might be like a waste of time. Like I think it's good to diversify, like add like if all I did was watch movies, I would feel shitty about myself. Like I would need to like get up and do something else to fill up my free time.
I was listening to sorry, were you done?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to Pete Holmes' podcast, You Made It Weird, and he had Ben Schwartz on, and they were talking about how for both of them there had come a time when they were like working their asses off, like writing, doing all this stuff, having no free time. And this was Ben Schwartz's story, and he said he kept going to like improv class, and he just felt like he was redoing the same scenes over and over again. and his instructor finally told him, like, take a day off, like, go to the zoo, go on a date. You like need experience in order to do these things. You can't keep just like working yourself to death. You need to like go and just chill out and get some kind of experience. And I think that's a pertinent point here, where like as unsatisfying as it can be to sit and watch a movie or a TV show, I guess is more what we're speaking on, but as like unsatisfying and ungratifying as that can be in some ways, I think it's also like vital to just like give yourself a couple hours every once in a while. You know, let your heart rate go down, just lay around and
do nothing. I think it's
relax.
I think in some cases it's like productive to do nothing, because like it's a good way to reset yourself and like recenter. Yeah.
And it's almost a motivator too. For me, it can be. I mean, rarely is, but there are definitely times where I'm like, okay, I watched too much of that. Now I have to like work my ass off and make up for it. I do think for me though, pursuing an interest of some kind is like the most satisfying way for me to spend my time. Like Brett, I spent the afternoon working on that shelf that we've talked about, and that was like a super gratifying way to spend my time. Like I screwed up a bunch of stuff on it and didn't like really get that far considering how much time I put in, but it was still just like a very sad, like I look back positively on the afternoon because I had a bunch of free hours and I like committed them to doing something I'm interested in, and that always feels good for me.
I feel that way when I edit the podcast or edit a video, or just like, or write something, like anywhere where I'm like trying to get something done or do like accomplish something where it takes me like, I don't really care how much time it takes up, but like if I'm like at the end of the day I feel like exhausted in like a good way, where I've done a good day's work of something, like of what I've done in my free time, like I feel a lot better.
So now I guess like a question is, how much of your life do you center around these interests that you do in like your free time? Is it like something that you should try to make a career where you can sort of, you know, take care of your needs by doing that? Or what's like the balance between having a job to sort of allow you to do this other like stuff in your free time? Or maybe that's just a question where it's different for everyone.
I mean, I think it depends on like how well off you are. I don't know. Like I think if you are I think it's a privilege to, in a sense, to be able to work on your hobbies or your dreams in a way. Like I don't think a lot of people are fortunate enough to focus like on like someone's like really into movies, or someone really wants to pursue a career that, or a dream that like needs to be worked on in like a hobby sense, and like kind of like verge that into a career. Like I think that's something that's like I don't know how to word it, I'm sorry, but hopefully you understand like where I'm getting at. Like it's a privilege to be able to, at least I think, to be able to work on something that is like a hobby. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, you always hear that like phrase. It's like, oh, like find something you enjoy doing. You'll never work a day in your life. Well, it's like, well, how often are you able to slot yourself into like a position where I enjoy what I do, I'm also good enough at it to like keep doing it? It's like, I don't know. There's so many different like things in this world, and it's, you know, there's a finite amount of opportunity. Like I don't know. Maybe this is me having that, you know, the real world is like right around the corner, so I got to kind of figure out for myself. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's sort of a tough burden to place on people. Like, oh, just figure it out. Like, find what you like doing. I don't know.
Brett, what do you think is the best way to spend your free time?
It's tough. It's like, do you watch the show over and over, and if that gives you like the endorphins you need, like, or is that good? I think so. I think you can't like shame that, but I don't. I do think variety is the spice of life. So like, keeping yourself sort of dynamic with what you choose to do. For me, at least, that's how
I think reading's good. I don't think you should be reading like all the I think like moderation is key, like in everything in your hobbies, but I think reading is a really good way to no, I don't think it matters like what you read unless you're reading something like ridiculously dumb. I think you'll get like
Rick and Morty.
Yeah, like you'll get like smarter if you
It's
or just like
probably like the hardest hobby to mess up.
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible to like overdo it.
It's like the most like ground level hobby. Like you don't even have to pay for anything.
Yeah, it's
like with
super
television
cheap.
and movies, like
Yeah.
you need like a TV or like a DVD player, or like or like a streaming service. But like a book, you just go to the library and pick one up. Yeah.
Here's a prompt for you two. Have you ever like, I don't know, maybe this is just like a social media thing, like where people go like, maybe try reading a book and not telling someone about it. I think that's like the dumbest thing. Like, I get, yeah, you should keep some things for yourself, right? And like you shouldn't always like do things as a way to sort of pass it on to others in the sense that like you're showing off or something like that. But I don't care if you're reading a book, tell people about it. Like sometimes like
Yeah.
I feel like you bring so much more positivity into the world rather than like
I remember when I was reading One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and you told me to read that, Brett, and I remember like after getting done with like a chapter like once a week or so, I would text you and be like, dude, this shit's getting like crazy. Like fucking Nurse Ratched, get out of here.
Yeah, so it's like that those conversations wouldn't happen if you just sat on everything. Like I do think it's good to like, better yourself in your own free time, and if that helps you out, like that's awesome, right? But I don't know, I feel like it's weird to shame people that they like promote that they read.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
the whole like point of reading is to like give you new perspectives or like new things to think about, even if it's just like some like teen fantasy or something like that. Like it's like you say, Connor, like all of it is enriching you in some way. So the idea that you're just supposed to like keep that to yourself ruins the whole point. Like what's the point of expanding your breadth of knowledge if you're not gonna like share that in conversation or discuss it with people? Like that's where the real growth happens. At least for me.
Wasn't it Tolkien or it was George R. R. Martin? I forget, one of the two. Where it was like, if you don't read, or it was like, if you read, like you live many lives. If you don't, you just live one, or something like that. I forget.
Producer Colby will get on it. Yeah, like that's the beauty of it.
Are you talking about the quote by George R. R. Martin that says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never
Yes.
reads lives only once."
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Best producer in the biz.
Colby Camp. There we go.
You never see like someone shaming you for like not or for sharing a movie you've seen. You're like, dude, just watch a movie for yourself for once. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be funny if like someone like tried to like share that they were reading something, and they would be like, dude, fuck off. I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to hear about this book. Like, fuck you for reading.
What if somebody did it like out of caution, like, bro, keep that to yourself. Like, let that be a you thing.
I'd be so like demeaning.
I would tell them to fuck off. I would tell that person to fuck off.
That guy's just an asshole.
Yeah.
No, let
Like,
that
let's
be
say
for
you're-
you.
You're telling someone about a news article. It's like, God, can you just like stay current with the affairs without?
Yeah, can you just
having-
shut up? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, so I guess I was kind of struggling with that. It's do you put your free time towards like higher pursuits with like are you always on the grind like building relationships with people? And I don't know. No, I think it is that balance of sometimes you need to recenter yourself, but
Yeah, I think it's just about doing it like I think you say moderation and variety are both like super important. And then just I think if you can leave it and feel a little bit satisfied, you know, in some way. Like obviously it's maybe not going to be as satisfying as like really working hard and getting something done that's great, whatever that is for you, but if you can leave it and feel like satisfied that you've enriched yourself in some way, that's a pretty good place to be.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess in your free time you might be listening to this podcast. So. That sucks for you, right?
That's a good use of your free time.
The three of us and 6 others listen to this podcast as a good use of their free time.
Talk about it with your friends. Talk about this new podcast you're listening to.
Views were down last episode. Mad. I think we'll get some more with the title of What's the Sexiest Letter. I think that'll draw in some people. But
yeah, baby.
Yeah, we need those viewers. Share with your friends.
Has it ever occurred to you guys that maybe the fact we're putting it only on YouTube is a little bit stifling?
Yeah.
What foot traffic would we get on SoundCloud or like other platforms?
I don't mean that. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like there's a bit. We're getting too much into the biz. This is too much about how the sausage is made.
I'll look into it.
We need to keep this podcast to ourselves.
We
need to make a podcast for us.
Yo, man, what happened to this? Like, all right, let's start clapping.
Yeah, let's clap it out.